We're talking about the hacking of cell phones. We are at Lookout Mobile Security in San Francisco. We're joined by Kevin Mahaffey, who understands this stuff really better than anybody else. He's the co-founder of the company, a technical wizard when it comes to hacking. Kevin, first of all, as the world is sort of transfixed into this story over in the UK, your number one tip for users not to have their voicemails hacked?
The most important thing you can do is to set a password on your voicemail, and not just an easy password like 1234 or your birth date. Make sure it's not something anyone can discover about you on Facebook or any sort of easily publicly accessible medium.
You know, it's one thing for people to talk about getting into voicemails. It's another thing to take over your phone, really get control of it. What we've seen is that the Android platform is the most vulnerable. That's where hackers have really turned their attention. I guess the question is, how often are you seeing this kind of behavior, seeing people's phones getting hacked?
We've seen more attacks in the last month than in all of 2010 combined. And what many people don't realize is that their smartphone is really like a PC. They download apps, they browse the web, they read email, and the same attacks that can affect the PC can affect smartphones. Think malware, spyware, and phishing attacks where people try to get into your financial accounts.
As I understand it, what happens here is, in many cases, these are legitimate apps, or at least they seem like legitimate apps that were put into marketplaces. The bad guys will get those apps, inject them with the bad stuff, the malware, and then upload them to the marketplace, and then suddenly people are vulnerable.
That's right. It's very difficult for you as a user to tell which app is good and which app is bad, particularly when you have two apps that side by side look very similar. One has malware in it and one doesn't. And what you can do is look at the developer of the application and look at what the description and the ratings of that application are so that you can understand whether the application is considered good or bad by other people.
Now let's get into specifics here. What happens when this malware infects your phone? One thing I've heard is that it can actually take over your text messaging feature.
That's right. There are two main things we've seen in mobile malware so far. The first is where the malware actually takes over your text messages so it can send text messages and receive text messages. And that may not seem like a big deal, but what can happen is that malware can charge money to your phone bill by using something called premium SMS billing. So you may download an app that you think is a game, but it's really in the background charging $10 a month to your phone bill.
Why has the Android platform been the most vulnerable when it comes to these kind of attacks?
Every platform has different security issues. On Android, for example, you have to pay attention to the applications you download, whether it be from the official market, the Android market, or from alternative markets, say web-based download sites. But on all mobile platforms, you have to be safe, protect yourself from phishing attacks, where somebody may trick you into entering your banking credentials on a malicious website.
And so your product, Lookout Mobile, what does it do? How is it going to help users?
Lookout does three main things. It protects the digital security on your phone, so it protects you from malware, spyware, and phishing attacks. It helps back up your data, so your pictures, your contacts, it backs them up to a server. And what happens really commonly is people just lose their phone or it's stolen. So Lookout will actually help you locate your phone if it's lost or stolen and show you on a map where it is right now.
Kevin Mahaffey with Lookout Mobile. We appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks very much. The bottom line for people to remember here, and Kevin said it, is that people need to treat their phones really as personal computers. All of your most sensitive, documents, all of your banking information, that kind of stuff now is on your phone, so you really need to treat it with respect and really make sure that you're doing everything you can to prevent hackers from getting into it. Dan Simon, CNN, San Francisco.